Howdy, y'all. I had to come to you and have a quick heart-to-heart because some shit don't smell right. Folks are, again, pushing this whole agenda of mental health. I have to point out to you, mental health is all in your head. It's all a fantasy. It is a delusion. It's that simple. Situationally aware. That's what mental health means in reality. In fantasy land where they live, mental health means that the chemicals within your brain aren't up to their standards. Excuse me for a second while I take a step back and go, what the fuck are you talking about? The chemicals within my brain aren't up to your standards? Something ain't right here. So I did a little bit of digging because I'm none too happy about that shit. And anybody who knows me knows I've been through this particular run. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. All that mental health or psychology or psychiatry or those chemical fucking stupid pharmaceutical drugs are for is for making a problem. That's it. It's making you have a problem so that they can turn around and give you more drugs because they say, oh, we didn't fix the problem. We only fixed a part of the problem. See how that goes? I just walked you through the first part of it. They say, oh, well, you've got this problem. So we'll give you this drug and see if it'll solve the problem. Okay? I'll just write you a little prescription, back out the door. You'll be all right, be on your way in just about 30 minutes. You have a nice day. Or not. Then you come back in, you're like, well, it didn't solve the problem, and now this person's doing all this other stuff, or I'm doing all this other stuff, or whatever the case may be. If you're going in on your own and saying this to the doctor, which I think is fucking stupid, then once you go back and you realize, hey, the problem's not going away, it's getting worse, why are you going back to that same doctor? Just a thought. But let's backpedal a second. If you had a slight issue or whatever, anxiety or whatever, and you went to a doctor and he prescribed you all these drugs, all these chemicals, and they gave you a worse problem, why keep going and asking for more chemicals? Common sense dictates that this is a bad idea. Think about it. If you have a bad trip off of mushrooms, are you going to eat mushrooms again? Specifically those particular kind of mushrooms? If you have a bad trip off of LSD, are you going to go walking around sticking blotter papers on your tongue again? If the answer is yes, you have a larger issue. And it's not mental health, okay? It's that nobody ever taught you wrong from right. There's a difference, okay? Between this person doesn't know better and this person knows better and is just being a dumbass. Okay? You don't know any better? Okay, that's fine. You don't know better. I'm trying to help you here. Because if now that you know better, then to think, oh, well, if I take these chemicals into my body, it will help make my mind better. Because it won't. Let me put it this way. Are you willing to sacrifice the rest of your life for 45 minutes? Before you say, oh, you don't know that that would be a reality, let me point something out to you. Like I said, I was diagnosed years ago as schizoaffective bipolar crapoid. just a heads up, that's not gonna fucking fly with me. I don't fucking put up with that horse shit. And when you try and lie about me to my face, I'm gonna laugh at you and then I'm gonna turn and walk away. Which is precisely what any psychologist would turn around and say is not necessarily mentally sound. See how I did that there? I'm able to point out to you 100%. They don't give a fuck about your mental health. They want your money. That's it. Money. That's all it's ever fucking been, is the almighty dollar. The problem is that they keep on thinking in this pattern because it's a not too mighty fucking piece of paper. It's not really the almighty dollar. So, in case you're wondering, you are feeding the pig. You are stringing up, you're tying the noose, you're stringing it up over the top of the tree for him and tying it off to the trunk for him, setting up the fucking kick chair and putting the noose around your neck for him. All they've got to do is kick. And it's all because you chose to say, well, I'm going to put my faith in a doctor, rather than putting your faith in you. You are the only one who has your best interests at heart. You are the only one who is going to know what is right and what is wrong for you. You are the only one who is going to know whether or not your body is handling this in a way that you feel is okay. Think about it this way. Like I was saying before, I was diagnosed with all these fucking stupid things. I was put on Effexor XR and Abilify at the same time. I was put on imipramine, Adderall, and Dexatrin all at the same time. Different points in time of my life, mind you, for the Effexor and Abilify versus the Adderall, imipramine, and Dexatrin. But these cocktails, when they put them together, make things that are very close to street drugs, but at the same time are much, much more potent and way more destructive. If you didn't know, pixie dust, the speed that you used to get that was white, and you get it in an 8-ball about yay big, it's called pixie dust. That was made from a combination of Wellbutrin, Adderall, imipramine, and Ritalin. Go figure. Psych drugs. That's what they chopped up and made into speed. And now people have such issues with chemical dependency and such problems, and they can't get it through their heads that what they were doing back in the day was basically making a mental health problem, not solving it. And it was probably some kid like me, back when that's when I was taking it. I was 4 years old. What 4-year-old isn't hyper? But I was taking that concoction back when I was 4 years old, the imipramine, Adderall, Dexatrin, and what have you. Not Wellbutrin. I was on Toradol, or not Toradol. Torodoxin. It's a sedative. Anyways, so yeah, I was on uppers and downers at the same time, which is, by the way, something that the CIA has admitted to utilizing in order to do brainwashing campaigns. You have to ask yourself, when you're looking down the rabbit hole, are you the one who's going, I'm late, or are you the one going, wonder where that little white rabbit went? I was the one going, I'm late, and not figuring out that I'm not late. I'm early. Because I took so much of my fucking drugs, I was spun out my mind. And so I let whoever the fuck it was that was talking dictate to me how I should feel, how I should think, how I should rationalize things. And that is not how you should do things. You should think for yourself. You should ask questions every single day of every single thing. It should be at forefront of your mind, a question. One big fucking question mark. Instead of, or, okay, I believe you. That should never be your attitude. It should be 100% of the time. What? I'm not sure about that. I'm going to have to go and check. I'm going to check my facts and experiment real quick, and I'm going to see if I can discern for 100% truth, or if I can even define whether or not it's plausible what you're saying. See, I didn't do that. I didn't think about it. I was just like, oh, well, mom and dad know best. Whoops. Mom and dad don't know best. Mom and dad are flying by the seat of their pants, hoping to God that baby happens to know better than they do. What, you think that I'm an idiot? I know. I know for a fact. I raised both of my sisters. Well, didn't really raise them, but I helped. I'm the oldest. I'm the big brother. You know, that was my responsibility. My mom and my dad were both constantly working. You know, I shit the fucking bed until I was 8 years old. And that doesn't mean that a person has a mental health issue. That means that they have a fucking personal confidence issue. They don't have the confidence to go take care of themselves because their confidence was shattered. Because they stopped believing what other people said because what other people said turned out to be untrue. Speak truths or be shunned by society. That is the reality of the world we live in now. Either you speak the truth or you walk in shadow. I refuse to walk in shadow. That's why I've always spoken the truth. The truth to the best of my knowledge, which is quite considerable. Now, mind you, it's not the be-all and end-all, of course. I've been wrong. On several occasions, actually. I have been wrong. Now, mind you, that is seldom that I'm wrong. Very seldom. But when I am wrong, guess what? I'm wrong. And I admit it. But that's only when I am wrong. And when I am wrong, I have no ability to prove. Now, you might say, well, that's 90% of the time. No, I have the ability to prove. Almost 100% of the time. Just because I don't have the information sitting right there in front of me to be able to go and put it on a video so that you can look at it and read the pages, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that you're unwilling to find it. See, that's the difference. You have to be willing to look, to question, to investigate, to deduce. Because if you don't, then you're never going to know for certain. Are you really mentally ill? Or are you just preemptive? Are you just knowledgeable? Are you just empathic? Imagine that. All human beings are knowledgeable, preemptive, and empathic. And yet, even though you have the ability to have empathy for another human being, someone else will turn around and manipulate that and say, you have an emotional attachment issue. Which means that you have a mental instability. You see how quickly I turned that around there? an emotional attachment issue, which is a mental instability. You know what they call that? There's a lot of different ways of saying it. Obsessive compulsive disorder, um, attachment disorder. Um, let me see here. Separation anxiety. Yeah, I could go on here, days. And that's just the diagnosis that has to do with not, with being a little clingy. Okay? That's just that diagnosis. And there are 5 to 8 different fucking diagnoses for that one problem. It's not a problem. All right? It's a survival trick. It's the way that families survived for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. We cling to each other because we love each other, because we want to stay together, because it gives you a better opportunity to reproduce. I mean, think about it. If you have 2 men in a family and a bunch of women in the family, and there are no other people on Earth because some cataclysm wiped them all out, and this family is all that is left of humanity to save humanity. Yes, it's a small gene pool, and there's a good possibility that it will cause multiple mutations before it auto-corrects itself. However, it is the propagation of the species. Did you think about that one before you went, oh, incest? There's biblical historicals to it. Lot and his daughters. David and Bathsheba. That was adultery. That wasn't just incest. That was adultery. Trying to do what comes naturally. That's the point I'm making here, okay? Is that when you do what it comes naturally to you, or naturally as a species, and because it's an immoral action, it's considered to be a mental health issue. It's not, okay? It's immoral. Leave it at that. Murder is immoral. So is rape. So is theft. You're doing all 3 of those things by diagnosing a human being with schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. Because by doing that, you are saying that this human being does not have a right to continue to breathe. You ask me, how the fuck could I say something so nasty, so resolved, so disgusting? Let me put it this way. The world is a scary, dark, evil place with a lot of evil people in it and a lot of predatory animals in this. And you got to think about it. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Would you rather be the puppy or the old mutt with the sharp canines? Think about it for a minute. It's disgusting, the thought. And such things as cannibalism are still legal, but murder is not. Cannibalism is legal. Don't get me wrong. not that kind of person. I'm not going to go and eat somebody. Jesus wept. I'm not going to do that sort of thing. I'm just not that kind of person. I'm not going to go and murder somebody. I'm not that kind of person. I'm a moral human being because I was raised with morals and scruples. But here's the difference, all right? You could be raised with morals and scruples, but when you test those morals, when you test those scruples, you then fall into a middle ground where people can't necessarily say you're an evil person, but at the same time, they can't say you're a moral person. Well, I would argue that that's the most moral of all. You are questioning whether or not the morality of this is viable. And if it is viable, then you're going to adhere to it for the rest of your life because it's that important. To say that, oh, well, you just got a mental health issue. That's okay, you know. He just had a Freudian slip. This person just had a Freudian slip and they went and murdered a whole bunch of people. It's okay, though, because they're not that person normally. That's not a fucking Freudian slip. That's a murderer. Okay? There are some people who generally understand the difference between murder and testing the boundaries. When you're testing the boundaries, it could be as simple as something as, oh, you stole 20 bucks out of your mom's wallet out of her purse once. Oops. It's 20 bucks. It's 40 bucks. It's 100 bucks. Who gives a fuck? It was the action that was wrong. So, you learn not to do it again. Because it was a immoral, wrong action. Not because it was illegal, not because it was, you know, your mom, but because it was immoral to do it and you felt wrong doing it. Now, if you don't have that kind of feeling, that you don't feel wrong from stealing, it's not necessarily that something's wrong with you, it's that there was something wrong with your parents. And those pieces of shit need to get a fucking real wake-up call. As for you, you have a choice. You can be a better person, or you can get your ass beat. It's that simple. Because if you steal from me, I'm going to put your face into the ground. If you steal from somebody who is like me, they're going to put your face into the ground. And they might end up stomping on it. I'm not that kind of person. I'm just saying that that's the kind of anger that I hold within me. I'm not going to hold back when you wrong me. Same as I would expect from anybody else. Where has that gone in this world? I have to ask, where has that positive reinforcement to appropriate action gone? That negative reinforcement to negative action, to immoral action. Where has that gone? I'll tell you where it's gone. The same place your rights went, right into the government's pocket. Because the moment that you recognize that because you have a diagnosis of some sort, you're no longer a normal human being, so you can't consider yourself on the same level as an equal as every other human out there. Guess what? Now they will use that against you. Ask me how I know. Maybe it's because I've been there. I don't know, a couple dozen fucking times. Imagine for a second. The number one thing that is more fearsome to those who are in power than somebody with a firearm. is somebody with the truth. And I'm bringing you the truth tonight because I'm sick and tired of this. I've walked down this path so long, I'm so goddamn tired of it. I've heard every single excuse there is. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's hearing voices. What? Well, maybe he wouldn't be fucking hearing voices if you didn't have him fucking blitzed out of his gourd. Well, she doesn't know what she's doing. She's got mental health issues, so we have to keep her all drugged up. That's why she's peeing on herself. What? You would make a person piss themselves because you don't want to teach them the correct path. You don't want to take 5 seconds out of your day and just say, hey, maybe try it this way. Who am I to say? I'm not no professional. Try it this way. You never know. You might like it. I might be wrong. In fact, I probably am wrong. But you won't know that unless you try it for yourself. Imagine for a second. I don't have this kind of clarity of thought at the same time as I'm taking Effexor XR, Wellbutrin, Boost Bar, Boxylated, Prozac, Pernatum, Abilify, Asbestonid, venlafaxine, trifluorate, trifenzlofil. The list can go on. And anybody who's an RN actually knows that one. They could probably turn around and tell you, man, yeah, this guy could fucking make a list. If he's been on half of the drugs he just listed, then he's been on most of the drugs out there. And probably knows more about all of this shit than any of you fuckers. Yes, I do. From personal experience. And I can say it has taken me a full, genuine 10 fucking years. Since I was 22 years old. And I finally said, I'm tired of my fucking kidneys fail on me. Having my guts in knots. Shitting red. Oh yeah. I used to shit fucking bright red. From taking those pills. And when I say bright red, I mean blood, people. Jesus. No, I didn't have fucking red diarrhea. I had blood coming out of my ass. Because those chemicals will tear you up. Most of them are shaped like sharp shards of crystal. Anybody ever been cut on a piece of quartz? Maybe a piece of obsidian? That's what anything with a silicate in the name has in it. Another thought for you. If I'm been off of these medications for 10 years, and I'm not going out and murdering people every single day. I'm not going out and stealing from different people all the fucking time. Matter of fact, I haven't stolen anything since that first time, or second time really, that I stole. But the second time I stole, I was actually sober. And I realized, hey, wait a minute, this is fucking wrong. Versus the first time I stole, didn't realize it because I was blitzed out of my gourd. There is a difference. Is there an excuse? Yeah, there's an excuse. If you can't control your actions because you fucking are so drugged out of your mind that you literally physically can't control your actions, you just do shit, then yeah, you've got a problem. It's called chemical dependency. It has absolutely nothing to do with your mental health. It has to do with you being dependent on a chemical to do something for you, whatever it is, to do it for you. Versus using your own brain, your own thought process, your own absolute stubbornness and sheer will to overcome. Now, you ask me, Blaine, how could you possibly get off of these drugs in just 10 years? Well, I got off of it in just 4 years, but I'll tell you how, okay? A lot of folks don't understand this, but there's something about Blythe that, to a certain point, it will draw out toxins from your body. Once you no longer have those toxins to draw from your body, you know, the toxins that actually take the super amounts of heat, just so hot outside that your body can barely take it, in order to break them down so your body can get rid of them. When it takes that kind of heat, once you get to a point where you stop losing the toxins out of your body and now you're just losing salts and precious minerals and vitamins, then it becomes toxic to you. Now, these last 3 years that I've been here in Blythe has been a detriment to my health, both mentally and physically, because it's actually causing brain damage to be out in this heat. Mind you, I came out here to take care of my dad about 3-4 years ago, after I had gotten myself to a point where I could mentally work in a real environment, be a real human being, after getting myself off of these drugs for 4.5 years, sitting there on my fucking ass, sweating balls, out here on the Colorado River, no roof over my head, nothing to protect me from the elements, just me and the river. That was it. I literally lived on the river. I did it for 6 months outside of Hidden Beach's river resort on the other side of the river from them. I did it downriver from them, down in the backwaters and swampways for another 1.5 years. I did it for a year before that with my dad living down here on Colorado River Road. Every single time that I came out here to Blythe, I would stick around for the hottest parts of the year, trying to sweat out these toxins out of my body, because I knew that these toxins